Yo, 94 Feet Nation, what's good? What's good? It's your boy Dre in the building. Today I'm here with my brother Keith. What's good?
What's good, good people?
What's good? What's good? Our other brother Zeke is vacationing this week, so he is not here. But I am happy to have one of my closest friends, a long time original 94 Feet Nation fan. Big T is what we call him. Big T, welcome to the studio, bro.
What up, what up, what up? 94 feet.
T in the building. T, tell them how long you been rocking with us, man. Tell them how we became like this, brother.
Basically from the infancy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, from the start. I'm a big fan of you guys.
Yeah. T used to listen to us on Google, all them underground episodes. And
Yes, sir.
T used to. So whenever you hear us say fact check, Terrence is somewhere fact checking us. Big T is somewhere fact checking us. And so Big T is an old school fan, right? Big T was able to enjoy the Bulls of pre-Jordan before he got with Pippen and them. And Big T keeps me level-headed in sports. So, how y'all week been, brothers? What's good, man? How's everybody week been, man? I feel like we just need to do a little mental health check, man. It's been a crazy weekend in the city and just around the world, period, man. How y'all doing, man?
Doing good, man. Like you said, yes. It's good to check in on your peoples, man, and just make sure everybody good, man.
Yeah.
How y'all doing today, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Life is good, man. It's always beautiful. It's not always easy, but as long as you're living it, it's good. So
yeah, good this way. Bless.
Yeah. All good. Let's dive right into it, man. We got a lot to talk about today, man. Let's start with the injury report, man. We're gonna kind of do it together like we did last week. The Atlanta Hawks are without Lou Williams. He is out with the left hamstring tension, and he is listed as day to day.
Man, listen, his name is not Lou Williams. It's Wing Lou. You forgot, man. You can't be messing up his name. It's Wing Lou.
Wing Lou. Danielle. You got me. Oh, you got me. Wing Lou.
Gallinari. I can't even get it out now. I'm laughing at you.
He's out with a hamstring injury, and he's listed as day to day. Go ahead, T. Brooklyn Nets.
All right, we have Nick Claxton, hamstring day to day. We also have James Harden, hamstring day to day as well.
Chicago Bulls, that's your team. Go ahead, man.
All right, we got Kobe White growing day to day.
Kobe who?
Not Brian. Zach Levine. Zach Levine back day to day.
Cleveland Cavaliers. Go ahead, Keith.
Darius Garland back out to be determined. I like Garland though. He playing good right now.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks. Kristaps
Porzingis
knee out to be determined.
Listen, we've been doing this show. This is probably
I think he's been on every injury report we had. I'm not even gonna lie.
This is like
6-7 years.
Bro, this is like our 40th episode.
He got traded on the injury report,
and,
the injury list.
And I don't think he's played in any episode we've ever done. Mm-hmm. Like, my goodness. Keep going, Keith.
Maxi Kleber, knee, day-to-day. Maxi who?
The Denver Nuggets are without Aaron Gordon. He is out with a hamstring injury. He is listed as day-to-day. The Pacers are without Brogdon. He is still out, with an Achilles. Listed as no timetable for his return.
Good
Go
job,
ahead,
Bucks.
With the Lakers, we have Dwight Howard, back tightness. He was definitely out last night. Also, Carmelo Anthony as well. He has a bad hamstring. He's out as well. He didn't play last night against the Knicks as well.
We got Utah Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, right knee soreness. He is day-to-day. Joe Ingles, torn left ACL.
That was bad.
Done for the season.
I saw that on TV.
Woo. That was bad.
I feel bad for him. Prayers to Joe and his family, man, during this time, man.
Yeah, man. Let's dive into shoot around, man. Donovan Mitchell's relationship with Rudy Gobert is back in the media again, and reports are saying that it is very passive, aggressive, and a little awkward. Is it time to break this dynamic duo up?
I didn't know it was a dynamic duo.
I was gonna say, who the heck called them
Who
dynamic?
called them that?
I don't know, but that's what our notes say.
But, hey, well, we'll go with it then.
We're
Hey,
gonna go with it. Well, remember the person that wrote it. What did he say? Michael. What was it? What's our man's from Memphis?
Mike Conley and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mike Conley and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Come on, man. Out of all people, Mike Conley.
Mike Conley and the Memphis Grizzlies. But
it's time for them to split up. I think it was well overdue. I mean, I don't know what the dynamics of their relationship, what happened there, but when you are, what was it, 3 years ago, and you still got this awkwardness in your relationship, it's time to move on. Because clearly, whatever it was back then, it ain't been cleared in the air. So let's just call it what it is, and let's see what we can salvage of this relationship. Because somebody got to go. Because your team ain't gonna do good when you got your best defender and probably their best offensive player at odds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that I agree with Kesey. I think that they're at the point where they may need to get another wing player. I think the wing players are golden nowadays compared to what they used to be. Having a center that's all interior, he really doesn't provide anything outside of. I mean, granted, it is pretty good with the defense, but they really need another wing player to play alongside Donovan Mitchell. And I think it is that time. And I don't know what they can get for him, but if they can get a nice wing player, even if it's a wing player that's 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", that can average around 18, 19, 20 points a game, I think it will be a great fit for that team.
No one's lining up to go to Utah. Let's start there.
Right.
Donovan Mitchell and Gobert's relationship, it's sort of soured back when Rudy gave him COVID. So remember,
y'all keep saying Rudy gave him COVID. Nobody know that for sure, man. The people need to come with that.
So remember, right before COVID started, when the NBA was considering canceling games, Rudy was one of those players that didn't take it serious. He thought it was a hoax. He thought it was a joke. And so at the game, he happened to already have COVID, I think, and he took his hands and he waved them in Mitchell's hair, and he did something real stupid that you shouldn't be doing anyway, pre-COVID or no COVID.
Do you think that's stupid?
I think that's pretty stupid.
Pre-COVID, it wasn't stupid.
But
at the start of COVID, it wasn't stupid because, listen.
Terrence,
ain't nobody.
What color is the sky?
Blue.
You sure, Kesey? What color is the sky?
Yellow. Because ain't nobody getting COVID off of rubbing their hands on your hair.
Well, remember when COVID first started,
that's what they thought. Statistics have shown it is not coming from touch. Okay?
May I?
No. Okay.
So, geez,
sorry, y'all.
I don't know where your stats are coming from. If that's from your doctor, you should find a new one. When COVID first started, the whole point of the contagiousness was because of close contact, touching, whatever the case may be. We got some laughs on social, so that's why I'm laughing. So whatever caused their relationship to stripe, it hasn't been the same since COVID. I don't care what anybody says, whether Rudy Gobert did it intentionally or whether he did it just as a joke, they haven't been good. And here's the thing. Utah, although in a dominant West, they have a formula for being a playoff team. Everybody can't win a championship, but you can have good seasons, right? You can have good teams. Rudy and Donovan need to get in the room, work it out, play basketball, because if either of you go somewhere else, first of all, where are you going to go? Let's start there. Did y'all see Rudy's contract? Who's going to pay for that just to crash boards? You're going to have to put Rudy next to someone.
And defensive player of the year as well. Though.
True, but you're going to have to put him next to someone that can score, right? Because otherwise, if you split them off, if you break this duo up, you now have Utah as a lottery team again.
How much is Gobert making, though?
Too much. Remember, Shaq went in on that contract. It is massive.
He just signed it, too.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And so Donovan Mitchell is a star. Clearly, Utah is his team.
Is he a star?
Donovan Mitchell is a star. Yeah. Okay? Donovan Mitchell is a star. I would pick Donovan Mitchell if I'm starting a team. Mm-hmm. I would certainly invest on the side of Mitchell. But if Utah has to make a decision, who should they cut? if they had to make a decision, which player are you backing and which player are you sending packing? I'm sending Rudy packing. I'm sticking with Donovan, and I'm building around Donovan Mitchell. T?
100% agree.
I don't 100% agree with that. I mean, the Spider takes some bad shots sometimes. That's what I don't like about his game. Like, he's good, but there's times he forces it sometimes, which can be a killer to your team, especially when you got a big man that's demanding the ball in the paint. Then you come up and chuck up a shot, and he didn't work hard to get position. Dump it down to him. Make your big man feel rewarded. But then again, that's just how my style is. I mean, but just looking at the contracts, Donovan would have to go first.
What are the contracts? Do you have them up?
Yep.
What are they? Go ahead.
So Donovan is 5-year, $163 million.
Okay.
And Rudy is 5-year, $205 million.
So
he's making $41 million a year to get rebounds and block shots.
And that's it.
Because obviously he's not a prolific scorer. So,
and he's probably going to be in the top 2 for Defensive Player of the Year again. And he probably will be consistently, because it's not really a big man's league anymore, right? The people that should be killing it, like Anthony Davis, he is not.
But it's not a big man's league because the players are not good at that size anymore. You don't find players, big men that are good like Hakeem and Patrick Ewing and even Shaq. I mean, you don't find players that good. Karl Malone, them type of players they done.
Yeah.
We in a different age now. So like you said, that $41 million they gave him was a waste, to be honest. That's a lot of money for somebody who has no perimeter game. None. It don't even exist. I don't even think he's taken a 3 in his whole career. Maybe 2.
That's a hot take. All right. Moving on. The Milwaukee Bucks have had season struggles all season. Are you concerned about the potential of another championship run? Keith?
Woo. I'm gonna tell you like this. I paid my season ticket money, so I'm looking for a 2-peat. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Yes,
I paid my season ticket money. I want a 2-peat. But
and Laughing Tacos.
Yeah, and Laughing Tacos. Shout out to Laughing Tacos again.
My goodness.
Yeah, the Bucks are struggling right now. I mean, they haven't had a consistent lineup, and I think that's their biggest issue is consistency in their lineup. Like DiVincenzo comes off an injury, automatically he's in the rotation, and then you got Jordan Nora who goes out of the rotation. Like, how does he play all season and then all of a sudden he's out of the rotation because this player comes off of injured reserves? You know what I mean? He's been on injured reserve for almost a year. Like, he has to work his way back into the rotation. But I think the Bucks are sampling different lineups right now to see who's going to be gone before the deadline.
Which is Thursday.
That's what I think it all boiled down to, of why they stinking it up, because at the end of the day, they're going to be a playoff team, right? So if you're Milwaukee, like, you thinking, I don't care who we got to play. We the champs. You got to beat us, right? So that's where I feel they stand right now. Like, you got to come for me. But right now, I'm trying to figure out who I'm going into this playoffs with, because we know how we can play in the playoffs. We know what we can do when the time comes for us to go to the playoffs. So, I'm not really worried about the Bucks right now.
I wish we had some dancing music, because he just danced around that issue like a saint in church on a Sunday, because he did not answer that question.
I did.
You did not.
I said I'm not concerned.
Big T, are you concerned about another championship run?
No. And the reason, and actually Kesey made a lot of great points.
Oh, here we go.
Come on, give me a round of applause, man. Come on, man.
Another one? We just gave you one. Okay. Fine.
I think prior to the All-Star break, I think teams, especially championship teams, are trying to figure out what's the best lineups to go into the playoffs. And I think with the Bucks, they got the injuries prior to the All-Star game. They had all the COVID. cases prior to the All-Star game. And I think at this point, after post All-Star, everything is going to come together. They're going to know what lineups they want to go against the East, and I think they will be okay going into the playoffs.
So I'm not concerned about the ability to go for another title, but I am concerned about their ability to beat competitive teams. We just lost to Denver by almost 30 points with all of our big three playing, right? We're losing to teams that we will have to play in the championship or even in the NBA playoffs. Like, my worry or concern for the Bucks is I don't want us to fall all the way down to be a play-in tournament team, right? You don't be the world champions and become a play-in tournament team.
But I don't think
hold on, let me finish. I am more concerned about the coaching right now than I am the players' chemistry, because the coaching to me, and if you are at as many games as I am, you observe the bench, right? You observe the players' reaction and interaction to the coach, and you observe his coaching style, right? When Darvin Ham was coaching our boys, we were winning, right? We went 3-0 under Darvin Ham, right, for this season. And when Bud comes back, it almost seems like there's a certain frustration amongst the players playing under Bud. Now, I'm not starting a fire because Bud did win us a championship. And it is hard to win back-to-back in the NBA, unless you're the Golden State Warriors of old, the Chicago Bulls of the 90s, and potentially the Lakers. Yeah. Of course. I mean, Jordan made it look easy. I already told you, had he not retired, it would have been 8 straight, but we won't go there. It would have been 8 straight, okay?
Yeah. But if it was a 5th, we all be drunk.
So I'm not concerned, but as the season goes longer and longer, you have to start being concerned. So while we're talking about the Bucks and their championship run potential, they recently signed Greg Monroe to a 10-day contract. And this is after waiving DeMarcus Cousins. Anybody?
Listen, first off, I'm going to go back to what you said. We have nothing to worry about. We are in 3rd place right now.
Good.
And we're playing not nowhere near like championship caliber basketball. So it can only go up from here for me. That's the only thing I can see. Mm-hmm. You can't get worse than what we're playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we did just put the claps on last night. Portland,
but yeah,
but that's Portland though. You know what I mean?
You're supposed to do that.
They had a few players out of rotation because of the trade.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we're in 3rd and we haven't played great basketball yet. So
run through the Eastern Conference top 6 right now and give us the records.
The Bulls are first at 33-19.
Okay.
The Heat are at 2nd with 34-20. The Bucks are 33-21 at 3rd.
Uh-huh.
The Cleveland Cavaliers are 32-21 and they're 4th. The Sixers are 31-21 and they're 5th. In 6th place is the Brooklyn Nets, 29-23.
So all of those teams are really trading off right now, because today it could be 3rd, tomorrow it could be 4th, 5th, or 6th. So I want the Bucks to, like you said, get that lineup, get it started. And as we were coming in to record this episode on the 6th of February, it was brought to our attention that they are entertaining a possible trade for
Dennis Schroeder.
What are they offering up to educate the nation on what the Bucks are thinking going after Mr. Just Say No?
But you got to realize his contract makes it
easy,
look good. I mean, to bring in a player of his caliber.
But what could Schroeder do for us?
Defense.
Holiday.
Defense. What about when Holiday needs a break?
You don't like George Hill as the backup?
He's not consistent enough for me. That's the biggest issue with George Hill. George Hill is a good ball player, but consistent is not there, and Dennis Schroeder is younger. So that's the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Schroeder is a spark off the bench.
Yeah, he can be.
And he's a very good spark off the bench if he can get on the right team. It's just when he's in the starting lineup, he's not a starting caliber player, point guard.
So the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks have both inquired about Schroeder being available. And it sounds like Boston wants to get him off the books. And, you know, Chicago, obviously, they have Lonzo Ball that's injured. They have Alex Caruso that's injured. So the Bulls have the most to gain by trying to pick up a point guard at this point. I don't know that Schroeder would help the Bucks do anything better than what we're doing.
It helps our second. It helps our second unit. It gives us some scoring and defense. He can get to the basket. There's no problem with that.
So what this report doesn't say, from what I see, is who the Bucks offered up.
Yeah, they don't have that.
They kind of have that protected, but I would assume.
You already know who it is.
Oh, I would assume. I'm just assuming, no facts, but I would assume it's George Hill, potentially. I wouldn't say DiVincenzo. I would probably say a couple.
But you got to remember, you got to go by what the contracts are, because Schroeder is only $5 million.
That's it.
That's it. That $5 million is not a lot of money for these contracts that these players are getting now. So that I knew that relationship in Boston was going to sour quick, because he was going to get tired of playing hard for $5 million.
Right. And I think the concern, though, for anyone that picks up Schroeder, especially Milwaukee, once again, we're renting someone like we rented PJ Tucker, because generally Schroeder is still looking for his payday, right? He is still hoping to do enough that someone comes back and say, okay, we're going to give you 5 years, $80 million. I think those days are over. I think he blew that. I don't think he'll ever get another large contract in the NBA. So whomever picks him up, and if it is Milwaukee, just know that you're renting him, because obviously he wants to be a starting point guard. He's not going to sign a long-term deal with the Bucks to play backup or second fiddle to Drew Holiday, right? He's not, because he thinks he's a starter. He was a starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's what championship caliber teams do, right? They find players to rent for that year to get them that next ring. So
yeah,
and he already messed up once, so he can't mess up a second time.
Right.
So if he has another opportunity where he can show his talents and bring out the best of his talents on a championship team, maybe he could have that nice offer after the season of $10 million a year, maybe. But so that's what I think teams will possibly, I guess, share with him and say, hey, you can make us be better, and if you can make us be better, then he can have an opportunity to make more money in the future.
So an incentive-based contract.
Exactly.
Okay. So Greg Monroe, do you like it? What do you think of that? No, I
do not like it, and we already been through this with Greg Monroe. No defense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that Boogie Cousins didn't have much defense, but he could score.
He was energetic.
And he was ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Greg Monroe, he hasn't done anything the last, 5-6 years?
5 years for sure.
Yeah.
5 for sure.
So to me, no, it's not a good pickup for the Bucks.
They said a stat last night during the game. They said since he left the Bucks, he has been on 19 different teams.
Wow.
So I don't get what the point was behind it. I mean, you signed him for a 10-day contract that's going to obviously take us into the All-Star break, right? Because the All-Star break starts right around the 16th, 17th of February. So we signed him for what? Are we anticipating him to play? Do we need a number of roster spots? What was the purpose behind signing him? And here's why I'm so perplexed by it. I'm perplexed because you got rid of Boogie and you signed Greg Monroe.
It was just Milwaukee Bucks Alumni Association
stimulus check. Yeah, they passing out the NBA stimmies.
And with Cousins, it was really a big money thing, because Cousins would have made.
They would have had to guarantee this contract
through the rest of the year.
10-day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was basically like, do we take that chance now, or do we wait till closer to the deadline? Because now they can re-sign him once his 10-day contract is up with
Denver.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably what the intention is, because just looking at the relationship he has with Giannis and them, like even when Denver came here, you see them talking and chopping it up and cracking jokes, and they playing the games like how the Bucks like they play the game, like they pretend like they playing football. He chopping it up with them, having a good old time. So I think he fit in here, and it's just a matter of time for the Bucks to re-sign him.
All right. NBA trade deadline. Rumors are going crazy that the Knicks and Randall are on bad terms. He recently denied the report, as he would, but many are claiming he is seeking a trade. He unfollowed the team on social media, and he's kind of been silent on what's going on. What do we make of this rumor? And if you are Randall, are you requesting a trade? Go ahead, T. You the guess. You start off. Y'all can't see him.
No. He. I'm shaking my head because I'm so disappointed with Randall. I mean, he had such a great year last year. He balled out, got the contract. What happens this year?
Mm-hmm. Like most players do.
Fell off.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, man up. Man up. Julius Randle, with a camera. Man up. Honor your contract, brother, because, last night he played really well against the Lakers. I don't know if you watched the game last night, but he played really well. That's how he played last year.
Yeah.
So moving forward,
it was the Lakers.
Quit crying, quit whining, don't worry about the fans, and man up.
Right.
But listen,
Go ahead.
you know they in trouble over there in New York. If you got the troublesome Lakers beating you, you know it's trouble over there. You know it's some trouble going on over there because the Lakers are struggling worse than any team out here right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have not played consistent all year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you coming in and, like you said, he had a big game and y'all still lose,
Mm-hmm.
it's something going on over there in New York that needs to be settled. And I don't mind seeing Randall going somewhere else. I mean, he did his due diligence in New York. He brought basketball back to New York that wasn't there for a while.
Carmelo.
Yeah, Carmelo did take it away. I know. Him and Amari Stoudemire, they robbed New York.
I'm just saying Carmelo brought basketball back to New York. New York was forgotten. Let's not.
He stunk it up. He made people hate going to the games. Him and Amari Stoudemire. Do you not remember those days?
I absolutely do.
Okay, then.
I absolutely
Then
do.
act like you do.
But we're not going to act like Randall resurrected basketball
It's
in
not.
New York.
I'm talking about he put New York back in basketball talks. Like, people stopped talking about New York. Like, tell me who talked about New York before Randall had a good year last
Charles
year.
Oakley. No.
Oakley who? No. Shout out Oak.
So here I'm going to
We
agree.
need some more Oaks in this world, man.
I'm going to agree and disagree with you both a bit because part of me, and I talked about this on about 2 weeks ago, loyalty is lacking in today's NBA. Stay with your team and make it work with your team. This whole joining stars and I'm mad after 1 year, trade me because it's not working out. One of the issues in New York, and I said this to me, is coaching. Tom Thibodeau should not be coaching young players. He shouldn't. He probably would be good on the Lakers right now, right? Him and Brown would be beefing, but he shouldn't be coaching young teams.
No.
And Tom was great under Doc, right? He was great under Doc Rivers when it was him and Lawrence Frank back in the Boston days, right? He was an assistant coach. I don't think the head coaching world is meant for him because every team he goes to, they get ran into the ground.
Who?
We're talking about Tom Thibodeau. You go from...
He didn't do that in Chicago.
Yeah, he had some good years.
What?
Remember, they made it to the conference finals.
They went to the conference finals, but then what happened the following year?
Derrick Rose got hurt.
Derrick Rose? What are you?
Okay,
Come on, man.
that's
You're
fair.
talking about the
That's
most-
fair. Okay, I said that was fair.
You finna start a fight. You want to
Listen
talk about
here.
Derrick Rose now? Now you're gonna start a fight in here.
Well,
But no,
Derrick
listen, to what you were saying, I disagree with you.
let me
And
finish.
that-
I didn't even
no,
finish.
No, I'm finna disagree with you.
But
right
I didn't
away
finish.
before I forget what I got
my
to say.
God.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, so I disagree with you. Because job turkey.
So then let me finish there. So Tom Thibodeau for me. Tom Thibodeau for me is not the coach of the Knicks. Randall, after last season and the season that you're having now, you don't have the juice to demand a trade. Okay. I can see if you were putting up MVP, NBA All-Star numbers and say, you know what, my team isn't giving it back to me. That yours colder. Let me get that one.
No.
I can see if you were putting up all-star numbers, right? And I can even see if you were putting the team on your back. People forget you play for the Knicks sometimes unless you're playing a marquee team like the Lakers. But it shouldn't have took the Lakers for the world to see, oh, Julius Randle is the face of the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. Don't give in to these player demands, right? Randle, you're just another player, okay? You are not going to make the difference on any team being a leader of a team. You're a role player that happens to be a leader of a Knicks team that's really, really young. Do not give in to those demands, New York. Make him stay and play out those contracts. Like I said 2 weeks ago, I believe that players should honor their teams. At least play 2 to 3 years of your new contract before you go demanding trades, turning this into the James Harden show. Go ahead.
So you kind of contradicted what you said at the same
I
time.
did not. I said I agree and disagree.
But I don't get that. You can't disagree and agree.
Absolutely, you can.
So now it's Thibodeau's fault, but it's not his fault.
I did not say it was his fault. I did not say it wasn't his fault. I said I don't believe he is the right coach for the Knicks, and I stand by that.
Why?
Because he doesn't do well with young players.
So you say.
No, the record says.
Or maybe it's the players.
Okay.
Because name a player on that roster that you would pick on your team.
On a championship team, I'll take Derrick Rose off the bench.
I'll take Derrick Rose.
And outside of Rose,
You can't say that.
Are you going to pick up Emmanuel quickly?
Emmanuel who?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
RJ Barrett?
But that's the point.
RJ Barrett?
RJ who?
He's decent. He's decent.
But, I mean, what happened?
Are you going to pick up RJ? He was the number one pick, right?
What happened to the
two? Yeah.
What happened to the Knicks talking about trying to bring in Zion and they'll make it Duke 2.0? So now Randall doesn't want to be a part of that.
No.
He'll be part
Would you
of
want to be part of that?
The move. He probably end up.
He'll be the piece that they move to make that happen.
To go back to New Orleans.
Oh, don't act like you came up with that on your own.
Here you go. You jab, turkey. Check your mouth.
Okay, so Randall, you're saying he should get up out of there.
I'm not saying he should get up out of there, but like you said, you got to hold him accountable for his play.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be upset because you couldn't figure out what they was doing to you start of the playoffs. So it took teams all the way up to the playoffs to figure out where his weaknesses were.
Man.
And so when they figured out his weaknesses,
that's good basketball IQ right there, folks.
When they figured out his weaknesses, now everybody is put on game of how to slow him down.
Yep.
Of course, he's going to have some good games. That's just natural when you're an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
But now that they figured out what you can't do, and they're going to make you do what you can't do, you don't like it. And then now it's Thibodeau's fault that you're losing because they figured out what you can't do. And you got all these young players that can't figure it out with you. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. They don't have enough veterans outside of Derrick Rose to figure it out for him. And Derrick Rose can't figure it out because he's a guard.
Mm-hmm. And he's injured a lot.
The Knicks have to figure out how to get some more veterans with him. He can't make that team good with all those young players and the mistakes that everybody is making, along with his mistakes too. Because he's not even that old. He's not even that much into his veteranism, or however you want to say it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much pampering going on with these newer generations. That is the biggest issue I have.
Pampering in social media.
With basketball. Like, there is no more, like, tough love, man. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened to tough love? We got tough love and we turned out good. All of the players that before time, they got tough love and look how they turned out. Mm-hmm. They didn't just become all-stars and superstars overnight because everybody pampered them. Mm-hmm. They got tough love. Players like Jordan gave
the bad boys destroyed him.
They put the hands on him.
Scottie Pippen still has
about 5-6 years straight.
Scottie Pippen still has a mark on his face from the bad boys. So
it's just, I don't get this newer generation and how they expect you to pamper to them all the time. When are you going to toughen up and listen? Because that's the problem. They don't want to listen to the criticism that come along with the fameism. You know what I mean? Like, they want all the clout. They want you to be talking about them, but they only want you to talk about the good. Nobody wants to talk about the bad, like that he can't go left and pull up.
Right.
or he can't go right and turn back
Mm-hmm.
and make a pass. And that's what teams have done with him. They know what he can't do. So that's how I feel about it. Like, I think you make him stay.
Absolutely.
I'm New York. You go nowhere.
Yep.
You better figure out how to make your game better. We'll work with you,
Right.
but you got to figure this out.
Absolutely. 110%.
And you better start reaching out to some veterans to come play with you.
Yep.
Because until you get some veterans that's gonna help you and give you that game,
Mhm.
like he right now, the time he need to be reaching out to KG and players like that who's been there.
Yep.
And has that skill level, that type of position that he plays.
Yep. And here's the thing: we're basing this off a rumor. Usually in the NBA, we found that rumors have mostly some truths to them. You don't get to say I want out in a 1 year contract, in a 1 year of your 5-year extension, because New York cashed out on him. They cashed out. You deserve what you get, and you need to stay and wait it out. So, trade deadline rumors continue. They are swirling crazy that James Harden is unhappy in Brooklyn, and he is seeking a trade before the deadline happens this Thursday.
Who is
James Harden?
James who?
The Nets are reportedly open to the deal, and they are expected to talk with the 76ers this week. According to the rumors, the Sixers role players would include, in addition to Ben Simmons, the Sixers are prepared to include Seth Curry, Tyrese Maxey, and another player, all for James Harden. Who is in the driver's seat of this trade? And what do y'all make of, once again, the prima donna known as James Harden? T.
The Nets are definitely in the driver's seat. Remember, we have Ben Simmons with all his baggage. Okay, first of all. So, secondly, my thing is this. The Nets were a toenail from going to the championship last year. You know, shout out to the Bucks.
Here we go with this again.
Shout out to the Bucks. Shout out to the Bucks. I'm not a Bucks hater.
A shot is a shot.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Miss is a miss.
You're right. No. Hey. But my thing is this. Man, you have a chance to win a chip this year.
Who?
No, they have a chance. I'm telling you. Now, listen to me.
Who?
Hear me out. Remember our conversation from before.
Who, T?
The Nets. They have a chance. The reason why they have the chance, if you got James, I don't care. If you still have Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant on your team, you have a chance.
You should. You
have a
absolutely
chance.
should.
So my thing is, after the All-Star break, you know, if things is not coming together and they're not coming off an injury and doing well, yeah, I want to push the panic button if I was the Nets. I wouldn't trade at this point.
But they don't have to have the All-Star break to make that trade.
They have it till Thursday.
They have it till Thursday.
I would not. That's why I said I would not. I will not make the trade.
But this just goes to show you, I'm serious though, like just goes to show you how good of a player Kevin Durant is. That team went from first in the conference with KD to now they look like a lottery team. James Harden and them don't make teams as good as you think they make them.
And no one believes that. I mean, Harden's record shows that. He's killed what? This is fourth franchise?
It's only two players, I say, that I'll give you three. There's only three players in this league that automatically makes your team championship caliber.
The first, Giannis. Okay, I'm sorry. You're first. Go ahead.
I can't even get mine out.
Go ahead and get out. We all know.
Actually, it's four. I'm going to take that back because it's four because I forgot.
We already know where this is going.
LeBron James.
Wait. Before he says it, wait a minute. Before he finishes, anyone want to hear our surprise voice? Go ahead. We are.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Steph Curry.
Yep.
And Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only four players I see that you can put on any team in this league, and you can automatically say, oh, yeah, they can win a championship. The only four players. And that's why I don't think all of these players have all these max deals. That's where the league has changed. Like everybody wants a max deal, but you ain't a max deal type of player. Max deal players automatically make you championship caliber out the gate. Can you put James Harden on any team in the league right now and think they're going to be championship caliber?
We've seen it. No. So
Same thing with Kyrie. You throw him on any team in the league.
Well,
is anybody going to say they're championship caliber right away?
Well, he's been a distraction all year anyway. So Kyrie's another case, another example. But the bottom line, Keith, is James Harden, he wants out. He's a free agent at the end of the season. So Brooklyn better try to get something for him while they can. Here's why I say Brooklyn is in the driver's seat. Because Brooklyn, here's why. Hear me out. Philly is about ready to give you half their franchise for one player in May. Brooklyn ain't got no draft picks left. Shoot, they didn't gave up their future.
They got no draft picks for like 2028 or something.
You know,
right?
they didn't gave up their future. So what do you have left? So if you can get James Harden's salary, his 20 points, he don't get the step back as much anymore. If you can get him off your books, get him off your books. But you want two head cases now, Brooklyn? Kyrie's not enough. Now you want to bring in Ben Simmons and Kyrie together? I feel sorry for that ball club. More importantly, I feel sorry for KD because he don't work well under that kind of pressure.
That's a good point.
We've seen that with Westbrook.
This is Kyrie Irving heaven. Because Kyrie like to shoot.
Yeah.
And that's what Ben Simmons like to do. He like to dish the ball.
He like to pass.
This is heaven for Kyrie.
But that's one thing we always fail to remember about Harden because he averaged 10 assists a game this year. He's been averaging double-digit assists for the last few years on average, probably.
Mm-hmm.
He is the number one playmaker for that team. So if they lose him and you bring in the head case head case baggage with Simmons, I just don't see them, progressing to the finals this year. I just don't. They won't have any chance.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to always not overlook the playmaking of James Harden. That's his number one job, honestly. He's not supposed to be a scorer with KD. KD is supposed to be the scorer with this team, with Irving being the scorer. So I think with them three, I'm still going back to my point. With them three healthy and they're playing, I still believe the Nets have a chance. Just go ahead and try to go for it. If you lose Harden at the end of the season, so be it.
If I'm Brooklyn, I'm getting rid of Harden.
Oh yeah,
because everybody knows he's not efficient, or he's not as beneficial to your team if he's not scoring. To me, when he's the facilitator, he's not as good to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the James Harden you looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's bucket ready, give you a bucket. That's the Harden everybody looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the MVP Harden right there. But when he's a facilitator like he's doing in Brooklyn, he's not effective like that. He's not that type of player that he's not built to help your team if he has to be the facilitator. He can do it, but there's a lot of players that can do it when you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You don't get 10 assists because they shoot a high percentage and they're very athletic. So that's what it is. If I'm Brooklyn, I'll do the trade.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing from the standpoint of, again, you said it couldn't be done, but I agree and disagree. Here's why. I agree. Because you get James Harden off your books. You get something in return for half a season. You get a grip of role players. And let's be honest, Brooklyn is lacking role players. Big time. They are a team full of scrubs if you take off their big three, and I'm air quoting big three.
I told you.
Now, you did say that. I'm going to give you that. You did say that. Now, here's why I don't like it. Anybody but Ben Simmons. Do you really want him and Kyrie Irving on the same team? Because remember, Kyrie still can't play in New York. He still can't play in New York.
So who takes that on? Well, you don't have to even worry about that because the only time you got to come back to New York is for your home game.
So
if you make the playoffs, right?
So
nobody in the East is
right. So you think about it. So now I have to play half the season with Kyrie occasionally, KD who is hurt, and Ben Simmons who won't shoot. That spells a recipe for disaster in Brooklyn land. So Brooklyn, they're in a rock and a hard place right now, but I know Philly is ready to move on from this Ben Simmons saga. But that's a lot of talent to give up for James Harden. That's a lot.
And that's all 4 of those players for James.
According to this rumor, I mean, again, we didn't dig
Right.
deep, but yes, it's
A lot of crazy rumors going on about that.
'Cause
trade.
I do like Seth with them.
Oh
a lot,
man,
a
Seth can
lot.
bring that scoring. He
Yeah.
can give them that off
And
the
that
bench
shooting.
scoring.
Yeah.
Yes,
I like that.
absolutely. We have a trade. The Clippers and the Blazers have pulled off the only known trade up until an hour ago this season so far. The Clippers received Norman Powell and Rob Covington, while the Blazers received Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, a 2025 second-round draft pick. Sheesh. Who won this trade?
Nobody. This was just a trade, just to have a trade on the trade market. I mean, looking at the Clippers, like, does Norman Powell make them better? Just looking at their team, what does Norman Powell bring that will make them over the hump better? Nothing. A little bit of defense, but outside of that, like, nothing.
Covington could bring some.
Rob Covington is an undersized 4. What does he bring?
Rebounds.
If that's what you want to call it. Bledsoe to the Blazers. Whew. Good luck, Portland.
You know, I'm starting to feel bad for Bledsoe. I am. Because he's been traded so many times. And now you're going to Portland. Unless Portland plans to rebuild, because this looks like a rebuild move, if I can be honest. That's what this looks like. Dame is out. He's been attached to trade rumors for years. And Bledsoe, who is still a starting point guard in most scenarios, now he's coming off the bench, clearly, when Dame comes back. It looks like a rebuilding move to me. If I have to give, here, I'm going to agree with Kesey and say this was even. This was 50-50 because Kawhi nor Paul George will likely play again this season, right? That's what they're predicting.
I don't think Dame will play the rest of this year either.
You know, so both of these teams have probably embraced that this season is a wash. Let's do what we can and figure it out in the offseason.
It's basically a salary thing, man. That's all this was.
I don't think there's a loser or a winner here, but I do feel bad for Eric Bledsoe because he is.
Why?
Man, you know, they say in the NBA, when you start getting to your 4th and 5th team, that your career is starting to wind down. And he's still young, and I think he can still be a decent backup on someone's team.
Yeah, he's a backup, but, you know, some of these players got that mentality like, I'm still a starter.
Yeah.
Like Dennis Schroeder, like, I'm a starter. You got your starting role in L.A., the big city.
Turned down 84.
And you turned down $84 million for 4 years
to
take $5 million a year in Boston, Massachusetts.
Tell you what you got, man, on the Clippers Blazers front.
I disagree with the both of you.
Uh-oh.
You're a guest here. You're not allowed to do. No, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I 300% believe that the Clippers won this trade, and let me tell you why. The Clippers, now it's a snowball chance, and you know what? But it's a small chance that Kawhi and George could be back in March. A small chance. And if they are back and they get a month of time to play going into the playoffs, you have Norman Powell there, another wing, when we just talked about it before, right? Another wing to help on the defensive side going against what? Golden State and the Grizzlies. They have a small chance where they can cause some havoc if only if Kawhi and Paul George come back healthy in March, where some rumors are saying. However, I do agree with you, Dre, that this is the start of Trailblazing. The Trailblazers are going down. I think they're going to rebuild at this point.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We talked about this on a couple other episodes. Rebuilding is not as easy as people think.
Yeah.
Rebuilding can take years. Kesey and I have been Bucks fans our entire lives, and we sucked for most of
We've
it.
been rebuilding since about 96, 97.
And we sucked.
We just now getting to somewhere where we got our franchise.
And we knocking on 40 in age. And we've been fans since like little kids, dog pound, right? Upper level.
Pound.
When my godfather, our spiritual father, used to be the Bucks chaplain, we sucked then, right? He was a good prayer, right? Shout out to Michael Dudley. He was a man, but the Bucks still sucked. I mean, we lived through the Michael Reds, right? The Todd Days, the Big Dogs, the Van Bakers, the Brandon Jennings, the Andrew Bogut's, and we sucked. So teams should be
Eric Murdoch.
Man, teams should be very careful about embracing rebuilding, especially Portland. Portland hasn't been good since Clyde Drexler, right? Y'all looked up and got, you remember they had Scottie Pippen, we lucked up they lucked up and was able to draft Dame, and they had CJ McCullough, and they had Carmelo. They had their time to shine. And if you embrace rebuilding, that franchise will be rebuilding for the next 10 years.
They need to.
So
does that mean Dame go too?
Oh, yes. Dame's out of there. I give Dame another year, maybe important.
Where does Dame go then?
A team that has a lot of money, because his contract is one of the highest. And I think he's right behind Steph Curry, if not in front. Well, let's look up Dame's contract. But so T says he thinks the Clippers won the trade. But again, we have yet to see exactly what the plans are for both of those franchises. Right. What is his contract?
4-year, 176. He's making $44 million a year. It's not bad. That's about what Rudy Gobert is making, and he only got to do is block shots and get rebounds.
And that's the thing about this. This NBA, where it's 2 or 3 teams or players on each team that have max players now. So it's like, man,
how did that even become like everybody's not a max player? So that's why everybody think teams are like jumping ship or having these big 3. All of these players back in the day would not have been would have been max contract players.
Right.
Yeah, I think, and when I look at teams like the Bucks have done this, it's like, let's lock up team players that have contributed, because who else are we going to get? Everybody wants LA. Everybody wants Brooklyn. Everybody wants the other LA. Everybody wants Golden State. So who are we going to get? So let us lock up who we have now. So another trade that was pulled off today. The Pacers are sending Karis LeVert to the Cavaliers for Ricky Rubio, a first-round draft pick, and 2 second-round picks. Wow.
You said they sending who?
The Pacers are sending Karis LeVert to the Cavs for Ricky Rubio, a first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks. They traded 4 players for 1. Help me understand that, guys.
Karis LeVert was on his way up before he got injured. So nobody really knows where he's at right now because he hasn't played a lot. And that team over in Indiana is not that good. So him coming to a team that's doing good might be beneficial to him. He might resurrect his career, and you might see why they made that trade. Because if you ask me, the Karis LeVert before he got hurt, before he went to Indiana, when he was
the Nets.
Who was it?
When he was with the Brooklyn.
When he was with Brooklyn,
yeah,
you would see he was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's seen that because Indiana has sucked since he's been there, and he's been injured.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else along on the roster that's been injured. You know what I mean? So it's intriguing to see what's going to come out of that. I think the Cavs winning that deal because the Cavs really don't need any picks anytime soon because they got all these young players.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest player they got probably is
Kevin Love.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Kevin Love.
That gray head joker.
Kevin Love. One of the things I think is okay with this, I'm okay with trades when they include second round because who in the second round is worth saying, oh my God, I'm not giving up a second round pick for it. Most second round picks get waived anyway, or end up in the D League or end up auditioning in Summer League. right? So I'm okay with the trade. I'm not a fan of either team. I think we know the Pacers have Sabonis as their leading guy. So if this can help Sabonis, bringing in Rubio, if Rubio's healthy, he can still be somewhat of an exciting player too. But like Porzingis, Rubio has been injured for so long. I don't even recall the last time he played a full season. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I don't know if Rubio has a long-term contract, but if he does not have one, I could see them buying him out or waiving him. But I think the Cavs are looking or building for the future with Karis LeVert. And the reason why is that they want to let go Colin Sexton, I believe. Not let go, but maybe get a trade for him in the future, because the Cavs have a very small backcourt, just like the Trailblazers, and that just doesn't work, having 2 6'1" guards in your backcourt. So I could really see Cavaliers preparing to trade Sexton in the near future. I know he's out for the year with an ACL injury, I believe, or MCL injury. But at this point, I think they say, hey, the league is at this point where it's all these 6'6", 6'7" players. We need to let go or trade Sexton and get somebody in to play alongside Garland and Mobley.
I don't think he's lived up to the standard that everybody's been holding him to for the pick number he was. And I think that's
talk about Sexton.
Yeah. And I think that's the problem with Cleveland. Like, they thought they were getting their solid point guard of the future. He's not that dude. And until they, so I feel like that's why they're going to get rid of him soon. Like you said, like, they need another guard, and it can't be his size with his capabilities. He has to be a stud. He's not a stud. It's taking him way too long to develop into the guard that they're looking for, and that's why it's time for him to go too. So Karis LeVert brings him in, another big guard, and you move Garland to the 1 and LeVert to the 2, along with all the rest of your rotation. Cleveland's going to make some noise. That's what I see out of them. They're gonna shock some people in the playoffs if you don't watch them.
That's what Zeke was saying. Zeke has become quite the Cleveland fan, so time will tell.
You don't know nothing, man. I don't even know why we got him on here.
NBA All-Stars. Let's talk about it. The teams are set. The reserves are picked, and the snubs are in. So we're going to do a little bit of a game like we did last time, right? We're going to go through the All-Star rosters, and you have to say keep or drop. Meaning keep is basically you like them on this team. Drop would be if it was your choice, they wouldn't have made the team. Okay?
Gotcha.
So obviously, let's go with the starters. We can't go ahead.
Before we go any further, I see why they made the deal. Karis LeVert makes $17.5 million a year. Ricky Rubio makes $17 million a year. So it really made sense now, like why they did it with the picks that they did. So shout out to Cleveland for making that deal, man.
Absolutely,
Smart.
especially considering they're building for the future. They'll have Kevin Love off their books this year, right? I think Kevin Love is coming off their books. So Cleveland will have, I don't know anyone that's running to Cleveland, but Cleveland will have some money to lock in their young core talent. So
I didn't even know Karis LeVert is only 26.
26, average 18 a game.
Yeah.
So they really wanted that deal to be. If you ask me, like you said, who in the second round you're gonna be like, oh man, I missed him.
Right, for real.
But yeah, moving on.
So the starters of the East, we're the starters. We don't have a choice, so we're not gonna weigh in on the starters. But in the Eastern Conference, you have Kevin Durant as the captain. You have Giannis. You have DeMar DeRozan. You have Kevin Durant. You have Joel Embiid, and you have Trae Young. Now, in the East Pool reserves, okay, I'm gonna go through the rosters first. You have Jimmy Butler, Darius Garland in his first All-Star appearance, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Chris Money Middleton, Jason Tatum, and Fred VanVleet. Over in the Western Conference, captained by LeBron James, or Lebanon James in the words of Casey. The best player the best guard in the NBA? Stephen Wardell Curry. The Joker.
He want to use the brother middleman. Look at this sucker here.
Morant, who is probably the most improved player. He won't get it, but he is. He's killing it. Andrew Wiggins. And then the reserves, you got Devin Booker, Luka, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Karl Anthony Towns. All right? So this is what we'll do, and then we'll go to the snubs. All right? I'll say the name, and you simply say keep or pass. Jimmy Butler, T.
Keep.
Keith.
Pass.
Hard pass. Darius Garland, T.
Keep.
Keith.
Pass.
Woo,
I
keep.
like Garland, but I just feel there's some more people ahead of him right now.
Keep. Okay. James Harden, T.
Keep.
Keith.
Keep.
Pass. Pass.
I knew he was.
Pass. Zach LaVine, T.
Keep.
Of course, he plays for the Bulls. Keith.
Keep. I like Zach.
I like Zach too. The Bulls are having a great season with their young core. Chris Middleton, T.
Keep.
Keith. Keep.
Keep, man.
Keep.
Come on, man.
Absolutely. Jason Tatum, T.
He's a hooper. Keep.
Keith.
Keep.
Keep. Fred VanVleet, T.
Keep.
Keith.
Pass the peas like that.
I'm going to co-sign with my brother, man. I'm going to pass on Fred VanVleet.
I thought I was your brother.
You both are my brothers, but I'm going to agree with my brother.
You stood at my wedding. So
I stood in his too.
Okay. Just checking.
Y'all are both my brothers. We are
Okay.
all God's brothers.
So,
in
you know,
this
we
room.
sensitive nowadays. So.
You know how they real sensitive, man. Especially in the league.
Okay. The Western Conference, Devin Booker, T. Keep or pass?
Oh, keep all day.
Keith.
Keep.
Luka.
Keep.
Oh man, I just don't know. I almost want to pass on him this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say keep because he almost like a triple double walking.
I'm gonna keep him. Rudy Gobert, T.
I'm gonna
Pass.
Pass.
Ooh.
Pass.
Ooh.
I ain't even second guessing this one. I'm passing.
I would slightly pass if it meant Ayton got the spot. Okay, if it meant Ayton got the spot, I would pass.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't pass up on Rudy because he's a double-double. You know, so
I get it.
and he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. But another story for another day. Draymond Green.
I would pass.
Pass
this year.
I will pass this year too. Donovan Mitchell.
Keep.
I'm going to have to say I'm passing on him this year. I don't think he's played as well this year as he normally does.
Ooh.
Like he's not up to his standards, man. So
okay, I will keep him. Chris Paul.
Keep.
Got to keep Chris Paul. And Karl Anthony Towns.
Keep.
Keith.
I'm gonna keep his emotional ass, man. I like him though, but he emotional.
Hey, I'm gonna keep him too, man. I like Cat. I think that's a good pickup for the All-Star team. Now, let's talk about some snubs, right? And one of the things that Zeke and I talked about, you can have snubs without actually removing people from the roster. This is just saying these are people we think should have made it, and we'll leave it to the writers to decide who should have been snubbed. So some notable snubs are, according to some of the writers, Mark Spears, Bam Adebayo with the Miami Heat, Jared Allen with the Cleveland Cavaliers, LaMelo Ball, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Drew Holiday, Russell Westbrook, De'Aaron Fox, Kyrie Irving, Murray from the Spurs. So there's quite a few names. For the sake of time, when we're talking about these snubs, who are the two biggest snubs, in your opinion, that should have made the All-Star team but didn't? Let's go with our guest first. T, two biggest snubs. And if you had to, who are you replacing them for? Let's add another element.
I do believe one big snub is Bam. And yes, he's been injured this year as well. However, I have a logic where if a team is a top 5, top 4 team in their conference, they should have at least one All-Star in there. And then with the Heat being a number 2 team, I think you mentioned there 2 in the standings, or 3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they deservedly can have another All-Star on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe a team that is 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th in your conference should have 2 All-Stars. So no, Anthony Edwards should not be there. No, Anthony Davis should not be there, because your team is 7th, 8th. Sorry, sir. 8th, 9th, 10th in the conference. So, yeah, if you're a top team in your conference, yeah, I would allow you to have, more than one. But if you want to lower teams, no. So Bam is one of them for me.
Okay.
The second one, I would probably say, I was going, but probably maybe Melo.
Yeah.
Maybe Melo.
Mm-hmm.
He is a difference, but once again, they're, I think, 9th in the conference. So, yes, he's making an impact, but he's making an impact with them being 9th in the conference too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Keith, who you got, man? Who are the 2 snubs in your world, bro?
It's not Bam, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Bam who? Because that's how listen. Like you said, this team is number 2, and he's probably played maybe 6 games this year. Yeah. How is he considered an All-Star if he's not helping that team get to where they at right now? He hasn't played enough to be considered that a snub. I like Bam, but he just has not played enough for me to be a snub.
I'm gonna fact check that.
Oh man, here you go.
Go ahead, brother.
Who else you got?
My snub probably, I like LaMelo. LaMelo is a game changer. They're just young. They haven't. They don't got enough experience to beat teams like the games. When we go to the games, when we went to that game, LaMelo was just like killing the whole game. But when it came down to the end and them having that one player that can be their decision maker to close out a game, they didn't have that, and that's why the Bucks beat them when they did beat them here in Milwaukee. The Bucks got a closer in Giannis in Middleton. LaMelo should have been there before Garland. I tell you that. And another one for me.
Strongly disagree, but go ahead.
He called you out.
I hear him. I hear him.
That sounds like a challenge.
I hear him over there.
Teacher versus teacher. Uh-oh.
I'm going to go with Anthony Edwards. I like the way he's.
But their team sucks.
But I like the way he's developing. They're young. They're not going to have that for another 3 or 4 years. That doesn't mean they're not all-stars. It's just going to take them some time to get to that point where they're can hold their team down and make them win and make them top of conference. It's too many. There's too many players that are ahead of them that are veterans that are leading their teams right now to stay on top of their conference that they can't. It's almost impossible for them.
Yeah,
because they're so young.
Yeah,
but that doesn't stop them from being effective and productive on those teams they own. LaMelo and Edwards are probably respectively the best players on their teams right now.
Easily.
They should be all-stars.
Well, I don't know if Edwards is better than Cat. I don't know that I agree with you on that.
I just see Edwards' upside potentially being better than Cat's. You know what I mean? Cat is about 6 years in now? 5, 6 in? Edwards is in year 2?
2 or 3, yeah.
And he feels like he's the best player. And I like players who got that mentality like, I'm the best dude. I'm the best on this court right now. And you're going to have to stop me. And that's how he talked to people when he's on the court. And he'll tell you in an interview like, My goal is to be the best player in this league. And I can see him being the best player in the league at some point in his career.
So for me, yeah, I'm gonna go with Drew Holiday. I think it is disrespectful that he has yet to make an All-Star, have an All-Star appearance. He's a champion, arguably one of the best defensive point guards in the game, and I think he is overlooked too often. And I'm going to go with Ayton from Phoenix, man, because again, Phoenix has developed something serious over there. He should have been an All-Star before some of these players. So let's go through this snub roster according to our man Mark Stein, who is one of the lead writers for the NBA. And you all tell me if it's a snub or not, okay? Bam Adebayo, T, snub or not?
Snub.
Not.
Not. Jared Allen.
Not.
Not. I would agree. LaMelo Ball.
Snub.
Snub. Agreed. Jaylen Brown.
Not.
Anthony Davis.
Not.
I want to say not. But then I'd be going against my dog.
The only player on the Lakers that should be an All-Star is freaking LeBron. And if we were going to give
we just talked about injuries as well.
I was gonna say if we're going to give, but he got the popular vote, right? If we're going to give an All-Star nod to anyone else on the Lakers, it should be Monk. Okay, it should be him and nobody else on that Lakers franchise. But again, another
Monk who? No, let me stop. I like Malik. No, seriously, Malik has been the only consistent player on that roster outside of LeBron this year. That's why I agree.
Anthony Edwards.
Not.
Snub or not? Snub. I would agree, man. I hate that he's on such a bad team because he is a very exciting player to watch. Fox from SAC.
Not.
Keys.
Not.
Not because he's been injured. Kyrie Irving.
Not. We said it the same. I couldn't wait to get it out. Both of us, he's like, not. Listen, he ain't played enough.
Murray from the Spurs.
He's a good talent, but not. He's not awesome.
I like Murray, but not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been another exciting, fun episode of the 94 Feet podcast. We'd like to thank our special guest, longtime listener, Big T.
What up, what up? Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, man, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate your perspective, man.
Yes,
shout out to my brother Keith for holding it down.
Shout out all the good people out there at 94 Feet Nation. We appreciate y'all for listening.
Yeah, listen to us on Spreakers,
iTunes,
Amazon,
Spotify,
Spreakers,
and Amazon Music.
I already said Amazon.
Did you say Amazon?
I think I said that. Apple Podcasts.
Anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, check us out, y'all.
Follow us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That is 94 Feet Podcast. That's 94FT Podcast.
Agree with us? Probably not.
94 Feet Nation, baby.